Level 2, 46-46. Warriors and the Philadelphia 76ers. We've got some college basketball coming up right now, actually. Loyola Marymount, LMU. The Lions taking on Gonzaga. Gonzaga are not as good as they used to be, just point blank. They're not the same team. They used to smoke these teams. Now they get all they can handle from these teams. Doesn't really mean I want to take the 14.5 for Loyola Marymount. I'm kind of looking at the over 151.5, to be honest with you, Cam, in this game, because I don't trust the Zags. Like I said, normally this would be an automatic. Yeah, they win by 23, but they probably win by 12 or something. Like, they're not the same, just destroy their opponents. And these other teams got better in this conference as well.
It's a good call. It's a very good call by you. I don't trust Gonzaga laying these type of numbers. Teams get up for them. It's kind of like, you know, when you're the best, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, Gonzaga. Yeah, you're like when they played the San Francisco Dons or any of those teams in that conference. So I kind of look at it. Yeah, it was 15.5 at open at game, 14.5. I agree with you. You're more of a total guy than me. I'd play the over rather than the side.
And here's the nemesis of all things good. UNLV basketball.
You know what, Gabe? Tonight's the night they actually show up and cover a point spread. This is
we
the
still
night
got our boy McInnes with us. McInnes having so much fun.
Oh, my bad.
What's up? No, it's all right. Here, we got a couple minutes with you here if you want. You playing his late night stuff? Just for the record, dude, UNLV, man, these guys have lost. It's like a 20-point home favorite this year, a 14-point home favorite this year. But then they go on the road against a good team and they cover. Like, they're really, like, erratic and all over the place. They're a terrible home team. It's crazy and sad to say because UNLV used to be the city of Las Vegas sports. Now, whatever, dude. Like, there's probably like 200 students there or something. A couple of thousand, you know what I mean? There's a couple of hundred tourists, a couple of students, a couple of degenerate gamblers, and a couple of scouts. Like, nobody even goes to their games anymore. And, in fact, I was thinking of going to their game on Saturday, actually.
Nice.
They're playing Wyoming.
Oh, wicked. You get to see the Wyoming Cowboys? That's awesome. I've been to the Thomas and Mack. The best game we saw was Jimmer Fredette and BYU. You know, Devil versus God in the UNLV BYU game with the Mormons there. Lots of fun. Had a great time. Great sight lines. I'm taking UNLV tonight. Gabe, that line open up, down a point, 8.5. This is the night they show up against a Fresno State team that's pretty average. I like the Rebels to cover tonight, but that's probably really stupid. This team could lose outright. Who knows what they're going to do?
Shout out to everyone joining us on Sirius XM channel 159. I am Morency, Andrew McInnes kicking with us, Cam Stewart in the house. And as you said, Cam, in those days too, what'd you pay to get in? Like $100, $200. Tickets were expensive for that BYU game.
They were.
You can get into this game now, like just to know like how UNLV have fallen. It's $18 to get into the game on Saturday against Wyoming.
Great price. That's great.
Our boy Pat Foster might be going. Like I said, I'm on. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those deals where it's close enough and quick enough that it's like if it was a football game or like some 5-hour adventure, I really wouldn't be in. But it's at 5:00 local time. The Thomas and Mack is close. Like, it's easy to get to and get out of there. So, like, literally, we go to the game. We'll be out of there by 8:00 at night. You know what I mean? 7:30 type thing. We'll be back on the strip at 8:00. So it's like 3 hours out of my life. The thing is, they both suck.
Yeah, but
like it's not a good game to go to.
$20 game, UNLV in Wyoming. See,
I just figured, Cam, it's my one. I'll go to my one NCAA game this year. I'll be like, to go to a game this year. Yeah,
Gabe.
I saw you. Well, that's what I was thinking about. Now I got it, and that's the whole thing. Because if I go to the game, I'm going to bet like $1,000 on it, and I got to be right. So now I'm like, damn. Who do I take? I got to take Wyoming. I'm thinking of taking Wyoming.
He's living good, right? Going to the Rose Bowl, whatever. This is like literally going to like a one-star
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
hotel.
This is like, yeah, man, this is a step down for me, bro. I've been to the Formula One with the high rollers, Rose Bowl. Now UNLV, Wyoming, baby.
This is the El Cortez of games today, bro.
$18, Kim. It's going to cost me more than my Uber to get to the hotel, to the arena.
You're right. I love
they're thinking Fred.
As long as you win your bet, it's a great game. Wyoming.
That's what I was thinking.
Excellent.
I was like, it'll be fun to I'll put like 500 on the game, and hopefully I'm right. You know what I mean? And like go back and cash my ticket after the game. You know.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to fade the home team. That's what I've learned, boys. Don't be afraid. Last year, March Madness, I sat with all the Duke fans, and I bet on Tennessee team total first half full game. I didn't care about them where I was sitting. Don't be afraid to bet against the home team or the guys you're sitting with. You mentioned that game, guys. Loyola Marymount.
Everybody in Vegas bets against them. Everyone in the crowd will be betting against Vegas. So, yes, I know what you mean. But they're like, people are like, they're cold-hearted. They don't care. No, it's just about money. They're like, yeah, sorry. So, what are you saying, Loyola Marymount?
Yeah, I'm on the team total up and over 69.5. Like you guys are talking about, obviously it's a large point spread and, certain teams getting up for certain matchups versus the others. It's obviously a huge spread. I could bet on them just hanging around and covering that number, but I just think they're going to rack up a lot of points, especially early in the game. I think Gonzaga gets caught off guard a little bit. I think the perimeter play, we could see Marymount, catching in from the 3-point line. And in the second half, I think we can over this number. I apologize, Gabe, if I, kind of overstayed my welcome, but I had a few plays to mention. Senators money line for tomorrow.
Bring it on.
I also had Devils to make the playoffs in the NHL at -115. Looking at the schedule, we take a look at it. It's about middle of the pack as far as strength of schedule for this Devils team. And right now, I think that they take the spot of the Detroit Red Wings. When I look at the standings in the NHL, you've got the Red Wings, Leafs, 2 wildcard teams. Then you have Islanders, Penguins, Devils at 51 points for 2 teams and 52 for the others. There's going to be one swap out, and I believe that swap out is Detroit swapping with the Devils. And the last pick I have for you guys before I head out is going to be the Winnipeg Jets goaltender, Connor Hellebuck, to win the Vezina Trophy. I think they're looking at that. Thatcher Demko, guys, is great. He's the second runner-up here right now, but his team wins higher-scoring games than Winnipeg. And when your team wins a lot of low-scoring games, you stand out more. So he's the favorite right now, but he's -110. I'm hoping I bet that today, guys. Next month, hopefully, he's in the -160, 170 range.
You know what, Gabe?
Next time we talk, we'll do some awards. What about Coach of the Year? What's that, Cam?
That's a good stuff.
I was going to say Rick Tocchet, Coach of the Year.
Oh, yeah, Rick Tocchet. He's done a great job with Vancouver. I agree with McInnes. That Ottawa win coming back from 3 goals down, I think it's actually kind of sad because I think the Senators, they have a good young team and they've been underachieving. They wish the All-Star break was probably a week away because I think they're going to be a play-on team in some of these games in the second half. I like your pick, McInnes. They look like they really grinded out that win and they look like the body language was good from the Senators.
I've never been to a Vegas Golden Knights game, as crazy as it sounds. I lived in Vegas. They weren't there. They were building the arena. I've been to the arena a bunch of times, ironically enough, but not for a hockey game. I've been to the UFC there only. I've been there 3 times, I think, for the U. I've been there a lot for the UFC. But how about this? The Edmonton Oilers are playing there Super Bowl week, Tuesday.
Wow.
Edmonton Oilers, Vegas Golden Knights. Cheapest ticket, $150 to get in.
It's no Bell Center, Gabe. No Bell Center.
Well, you've been there? You've been to a Vegas Golden Knights game?
I've been there a few times. Yeah, it's
about this,
it's great.
This
would be cool. They have cheerleaders. Yeah, they got the big show.
Yeah, big game.
17 wins if they win. That's it. Later, pal.
Oh, that's the game we were talking about.
End up winning outright as a 4.5-point underdog at kickoff last week. They're headed back to the Super Bowl yet again. They were phenomenal, Vinny, in the first half, and they were phenomenal against Miami in the first half, too.
A lot of motivated players, and look, you got to hand it to them. Youthful players playing in a great system by Spagnuolo, and we know how great of a big game coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman
The
Trophy
early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell,
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time decisions.
I have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
SportsRage
That was
late
good betting.
night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. So Fresno State and UNLV have not tipped off yet, but they're about to. UNLV are 7.5-point favorites. The total is 139.5. Colorado State have just beaten San Diego State, 79-71. Big-time win for Colorado State over the visiting Aztecs tonight, 79-71 final score. NC State is up 74-68 on Miami, Florida. Clemson are up 66-59 on the Ville. Gonzaga 10-7 early over Loyola Marymount. We jumped in on the over of this basketball game. That was our one play over 151.5. New in-game total right now. It's early. 156.5. And we've got a man that lives and breathes college basketball stepping up and in right now. We'll get to the Super Bowl, college basketball, and more. Big man on campus in the house. What's going on, big man? Thanks for joining us tonight.
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me as always. I appreciate it. How you guys doing?
Hey, good stuff. Good stuff. A lot of stuff to get to. Let's start off with this late night college basketball. Bro, UNLV, I couldn't pick a UNLV game if you gave me the Las Vegas Review-Journal, like, tomorrow's paper type of deal. They're a weird team. Like, whenever they lay points at home, they generally lose outright. And, they might surprise you and play well on the road and cover a point spread every now and then. They're not a very good basketball team. I don't trust them laying points tonight. What's your opinion, Jeff, on the late night DGen special?
Yeah, I can't say I would either. I mean, this has been, as you alluded to, very Jekyll and Hyde, mostly Hyde. I mean, or Jekyll. I don't even know what they are. They're just topsy-turvy.
Jekyll, Hyde, whatever. They're whack. They're Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're both. But yeah, I don't really know what to gauge with this group. I mean, this is a team that earlier this year lost to Southern. They lost to Loyola Marymount. This is a group that got blown out by Air Force a week or so ago. I mean, a game in which Air Force, who hasn't beaten anybody in conference this year other than UNLV, they beat them by 32. Then they bounce back and win over the weekend. Now they're back at home. Look, Fresno's not great, but they're always a pretty good defensive team. They're going to play very slow. I don't have any interest in playing digits. Yeah, under looked probably pretty good here.
I bet the over 151.5 of the Gonzaga Loyola Marymount game. And Loyola Marymount were laying 14.5. And I said, in the old days, it would be automatic, right? They win these games by 35, by 28 at home. There's like a collection of things. Gonzaga, just quite frankly, are not as good as they used to be anymore. Tommy Lloyd was a big part of that recruiting process, as we see. Now head coach of Arizona for people tuning in. And the other teams in the conference, Jeff, have gotten better. Me and Cam were talking about it, right? Like, that conference used to kind of be a joke. It was like kind of like St. Mary's, right? And, you had BYU. But St. Mary's is good. Like these other teams they're not really good, but they're not pushovers anymore, like the Pepperdines of the world anymore, right? And even Loyola Marymount have been pretty competitive and covered some point spreads against good teams. So I just didn't trust them. I couldn't lay 14.5. I only played the over.
Yeah, I think in these kind of games, look, I think with Gonzaga, I think you're 100% right. They're not the team that we kind of remember recently. They're not a real deep team. I don't know if they have that go-to guy that they can get a bucket. They don't have that Wiltshire or a guy like that on this team, Sabonis. They don't have that
Suggs,
kind of player.
even the star. Like they don't have those, like just a star. You know what I mean?
They're just a bunch of guys. They're an average team. I think they're going to have trouble even winning this conference. This is, as you said, a better conference. We know St. Mary's is better. San Francisco is solid.
Yeah, the Dons.
Luckily, you don't got to deal with BYU anymore. But I will say this, against these type of teams, really anyone outside of San Francisco, Santa Clara, and St. Mary's, they, for the most part, been pretty good against these type of groups. Loyola Marymount, I think, could be testy, but at home, I kind of felt like Gonzaga was worth maybe a look. But I don't have any interest in betting them, just kind of the state that they're in. They probably get the job done here, but I don't want to lay the number either.
What was the shock of the night, guys? Georgia Tech beating North Carolina. That's a big win by the Rambling Wreck. They were pretty cold going into that game too, guys.
It's kind of disappointing, too, because I was hoping North Carolina would win and there would be kind of a hefty price that they were going to be laying against Duke, and I was going to come in on Duke over the weekend, but that's obviously not going to happen. I would also say, I think we got to talk about the job that Lamont Paris is doing at South Carolina.
That's the game I want to get to. Yeah. And sorry, Kev, you're right. Big win for Georgia Tech. They're another team, though, sort of like UNLV, Georgia Tech. They're super talented. They could be really good. They could suck, right? But big win for them. We've had a lot of upsets, but just from a bigger standpoint, look, they were getting 7.5, 8, whatever. I think it closed at 8. And North Carolina. South Carolina, and I was on them, guys. I was on a big man tonight. I wish I had him on the money line. I didn't have I didn't do that. But I was wondering, why the hell are we getting 14 points with like a 15-3 team? They won the game outright.
Yeah,
and they beat Kentucky last week.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And what they do is they take the air out of the ball and they walk the ball up the court. They don't want to let you get out in transition. That's a hell of a coach there. He was very good in the SoCo I want to say he was at East Tennessee State or one of those teams. Did a great job. As you alluded to, they beat Kentucky the other week. And what did they do? You shut down a great offense that wants to get out in transition by not letting them get out in transition. Dalton Knecht did his thing, but I think they were okay with that. As long as no one else beat them, you look at Knecht, 31 points. I think only one other person got into double digits. So that was kind of the game plan, and it worked. Great work. This looked like the old Tennessee team that can't score, and this is the issue sometimes with this group where they get into these lulls where they can't score, and a team like South Carolina is going to beat them. Good call by you.
Yeah, you know what, Gabe? You look at the total, like Big Man said, the Tennessee Volunteers, we know they're a great defensive team, right? Mm-hmm. So you had a low total here of 135.5, yet you're laying 14 points. So what, you think they're going to win? What is this? You think you're going to win 68-48 or something like that? Right? Like they gave South Carolina. Yeah. I don't often retweet Big Man Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah.
But he's a proud South Carolina Gamecock alum. Yeah. Cam, and he tweeted tonight after the game, better start putting some respect on our name.
I agree with Hootie. He's right.
I retweeted him,
yeah. That's awesome. Darius Rucker follows you on Twitter now. That's wicked. That's great. Guys, what about Arizona, too? I know they had a nice rebound beating the Ducks in Eugene, but Big Man, what a crazy team. Gabe and I were talking. We were on the night that Oregon State beat them outright, Wazoo. Like, what do you do with this team moving forward? Because we know they have the potential, but sometimes they play down to the competition. They're a really weird team to gauge as well. Very talented, though.
They are a very weird team to gauge. And again, look, it's very hard to win on the road, one of which that's kind of where they've struggled, going on the road and getting beaten up by Stanford, going to Wazoo, losing to that group. It was nice to see them go on the road and get a win on Saturday. That's a tough spot, obviously, even after losing to Oregon State. The problem they have is, as you guys know, Pac-12 tournament ain't in Tucson, and neither is the NCAA tournament. They got to find a way to start going on the road and winning basketball games. because some of these performances have been flat out bad. Remember, they also lost to Florida Atlantic on a neutral site, essentially an away game, lost on the road, essentially an away game to Purdue. They got to find a way to start winning games on the road. But you give them credit. They did also go to Duke and win. So, I don't really know what to gauge with this team. I feel like if they fall into the NCAA tournament into a team that, like South Carolina, that's not going to let them get out in transition, what do they really do? They're really all about downhill transition and destroying you on the glass. So I'm going to be interested in seeing the kind of matchup they get in the NCAA tournament. That's going to be really cognizant of how I bet them.
If you had to pick one team now, big man, you say that there's the team to beat. Like, who do you, if you had to pick the national champion right now, who would it be?
Yeah, listen, I'm going to go Purdue. I want to say Houston.
Feels like Purdue or Houston. I hate to be chalky, right? But Purdue or Houston, right?
And the reason I'll say Houston is, A, they have Zach Edey and no one else does. B, their guard play has been real good. You look at their kind of supporting cast, they have a really good group of just kind of role players. Throw in the fact they have a chip on their shoulder. They lost last year to a 16 team.
Reminds me of Virginia, man. Remember Virginia got knocked out early.
End up winning outright as a 4.5-point underdog at kickoff last week. They're headed back to the Super Bowl yet again. They were phenomenal, Vinny, in the first half, and they were phenomenal against Miami in the first half too.
A lot of motivated players, and look, you got to hand it to them. Youthful players playing in a great system by Spagnuolo, and we know how great of a big game coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks, backup
Pharrell
quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
SportsRage
That was good
late
betting.
night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid
We did.
information. Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Tonight was Super Tuesday on the college hardwood. We had North Carolina loses to Georgia Tech, South Carolina, so both underdogs cover tonight. How about that money line parlay? That would have been nice, Cam. South Carolina were 14-point underdogs, and Georgia Tech were 7.5, 8-point underdogs. I'll tell you one game, and we'll get to Cam wants to talk about the UConn Huskies, but one game that got me tonight, big man, and whatever, it's going to get you. I've been riding away with them, was Texas Tech, but son of a bitch, man. They were only down by 3 with like 30 seconds left, and they ended up losing by 8. It was pretty frustrating. Or 7, I guess, whatever. Whatever, they didn't cover.
They're another team that I'm scratching my head on. I don't know what has happened to this team defensively. Their coach, Grant McCassin, is kind of a defensive star. I mean, he was great at North Texas, has always had elite defenses. I don't know what's happened to this group, though. I mean, they're one of the worst teams in this conference defensively. Another rough outing tonight, giving up 85. Look, that's a good TCU offense, but something's going on with Texas Tech. I'll tell you right now, they're a decent over team. We kind of don't think of them as a good offensive team.
True.
But they are. They're very good offensively, and they can't get a stop right now defensively. Look at their last, 4 games. They've given up 77, 78, 84, and 85. They are having real issues on the defensive end in Lubbock.
Just to set the stage, tomorrow night, nationally televised games, you've got the Florida Gators and Kentucky. Always a great rivalry game. Vanderbilt and Auburn, some SEC action tomorrow night. We'll get to the UConn-Providence game. But Saturday, some big-time stuff this Saturday in college basketball. And this is for UCAM on Friday night, actually. Not, I don't want to talk about the big boys here. How about this one? Yeah. St. Bonaventure, the Bonnies take on Dayton Friday night.
Hey, watch out for Dayton, Gabe. The Flyers are hot, baby. Flyers are playing good basketball right now. I'd be very careful with that team. And big man, another team that's flying under the radar. Have you seen the way New Mexico's been destroying teams too, like decent teams, like on the road? Gabe, the Lobos at the Pit, they murdered Nevada on the Sunday night championship game of football. I was watching the game after the Nier game. I'm like, man, these guys are on fire. Right, big man? What do you think about that team? Because they're dangerous at the Pit. I kind of like the Lobos.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the country against the spread, and they're, as you said, just lighting teams up in that building. I believe tomorrow night they play again at home. They got Boise. They're laying a big number. I'll tell you, though, that might be the first time they don't blow a team out. That Boise team is well-coached, real good basketball team under Leon Rice. That could be your first kind of close game in Albuquerque in a while. I'll also lead, if you had VCU tonight, I hope you stay away from your balcony because that was a rough beat if you had VCU. I want to say at one point they were up 20, and they ended up not covering 4.5. They were 4.5-point dogs, didn't cover. That's a rough beat, man. If you had VCU tonight, they were up 39-19 at one point and didn't cover 5. Or 4.5. That's rough.
I think tonight one of the biggest pathetic performance, the WTF performance of the night, Kansas State, big man. What the hell was that, bro? Tonight against Oklahoma. Dude, they were down 21-7 at one point with 5 minutes left in the first half. They weren't ready to play. Oklahoma punched them in the mouth. K-State were 2.5-point favorites on their home court.
I think what we're starting to realize is that Jerome Tang kind of struck a lightning in a bottle there. You got some really good players. You come in as the interim coach. Then they give you the job. And then we find out you can't really coach. That's, I think, what we're kind of learning here. I hate to tell you, I think that was a bad hire by them. Look, we see these things in college basketball, college football. We saw what Ed Orgeron, right? Has Joe Burrow, has this great season. We think he can coach. Then we realize a year or two later, it's almost like Dan Campbell. We realize on Sunday, well, he's in bad situations and rough situations. He's not that great of a coach, really, is he? I think
he's brutal. He
I think people have said that's
you got to go up 3 possessions, Morency, and take the damn field goal. I don't care what the numbers say. That's the whole thing about these new guys that go for it. Think about the damn game situation, man. Use your head. You go up 3 possessions on the road.
And when we look at Tang, I mean, let's just be honest. He had a really good team last year at Kansas State. Marquise Noel,
Yeah, Marquise Noel's not there anymore. It's a good point. He lost a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is 347th in the country in turnover rate. You cannot competently run offense turning the ball over at that level. And it's no secret that they're scoring 53, 52, 67, 66, 64. They're a bad offensive team because they turn it over like crazy.
You know, as a coach that's walking into a tough situation like that is my Michigan Wolverines with Sharon Moore. You're following Harbaugh. Half the team has gone to the National Football League. You've got the NCAA investigation going on, and you've got a killer schedule next year. And, and Harbaugh, real nice of Jim Cam to steal all of our coaches on the way out as well. It's like, you're leaving, and now you're just rating the staff. Right?
Yeah,
so,
it's not right.
It's like, we're like, really? Okay, bro. We're okay. Thanks. You love us, but you're going to steal everything on the way out. I love you, honey, but I'm sorry. I'm taking the car, I'm taking the couch, and I'm taking the TV. So Sharon Moore's sort of in a tough spot, big man, like that this year. But I think he'll fare well, right? I think he's the right man for the job. But I can't wait for college football to be back. But college basketball is lit right now. And looking at Saturday's schedule, we've got.
Can I just say one thing real quick? I know this is going to be tough for them to do, but I think it's time to fire Juwan Howard in Ann Arbor. I mean, another just hit of performance tonight. I don't know how you justify this at this point. I mean, you lose by 19 to your rival tonight. They have looked lost. I think it's time to move
And
on.
it gets worse, big man, on a yearly basis. Let's just call it off what it is. And you being the Philly guy, you know this. He's been out a lot, right? He's either punching people, slapping people, or he's sick, he's got surgery. They're better when Phil Martelli's the coach. They just are, right? Like they always have been every time. And Howard came out early. He was good, right? I mean, it was like, all right, he's going to bring this energy to Fab Five. And it was sort of like the Harbaugh hire. But it's imploded. He can't recruit.
But I think, that his success early was more of he was grabbing John Beeline's guys, and he had it like a year or two. And now we're starting to realize he's just in over his head. You're right, though. Martelli's fine. Just cut him loose and put Martelli in there.
It's the way they lose too. They were beating Michigan State earlier in that game, and then it was just like Gabe, like a major collapse. Like they start off, and then they just get absolutely smoked. Like it's just it's a real problem seeing Michigan be this bad. Like they should be a lot better than they are.
Well, it's like the yin and the yang, because for a while the Michigan football program was mediocre and meddling, and Michigan has sort of become a basketball school, going to the Final Four every 2 years. And, hey, they're in a title again. Like it was a pretty dominant run Michigan basketball was on. Yet it's getting worse on a yearly basis. I've lost confidence in him as well. Everybody has. Nick Stauskas last night, after the game over the weekend, Stauskas tweeted out, he said, it's hard to watch this. He goes, I haven't seen passion or like anybody give it an F in years about Michigan basketball. And that's sad to say. Like, it's true. Like, it shouldn't be. I mean, you have the facilities, you have the money, you have everything right there. This can't be. Like, you can't be getting lit up every night by your rivals like this. He's going to have to go. Right? It's just, he's going to have to go. And you know what? Michigan fan wants him to be fired. So it's not like, and Ward Manuel's taking a lot of heat now because people are stupid and they're blaming the athletic director of Michigan because he couldn't keep Harbaugh. Harbaugh was going to do what he was going to do, guys. Like, the athletic director had nothing in, like, what do you want the athletic director to do? Like, Harbaugh's his own man. So that was, but now they're like, he better fire Juwan Howard. I don't think he wants to look like the bad guy and piss off the Fab Five and the era and all that, but it has to be done. It has to be done.
Listen,
Duke and North Carolina.
There are some terrific coaches out there. They can get somebody else.
Duke and North Carolina, 6:30 on Saturday. But Houston and Kansas, that's the one, man. What a game. Houston and Kansas. So Houston, of course, in the Big 12 right now, and there hasn't been any drop-off, big man, with the Houston Cougars in the Big 12.
No, there really hasn't. I mean, I think at times you're going to take your lumps. I mean, this is a real tough conference, but yeah, I mean, they've been elite. They've went on the road and won. This is going to be your biggest test, though, regardless of kind of where Kansas is. I mean, they came back and beat up Oklahoma State yet again, big. They're going to be dogs at Kansas, home dog. When was the last time they were a home dog? I mean, it's been a long time. They're going to be a solid, probably 3-point dog in this game.
You think
and
Houston will be favored? Yeah, you think he's by 3-2, 1.5? Really? Huh?
Yeah,
small
favorite.
Yeah, you have to. They're the number 1-2 team in the country, and I think this is going to be a great spot to back Kansas. Can they actually get over the hump? This is the game where if you're Hunter Dickinson, you've got to put on a show against a really good defense. This is the defending, not the defending chance, but the second defending chance. They won 2 years ago. You got to perform. This is your building. That's a tough place to go. I think if you're getting 3-4, you got to lean Kansas there.
I'm always a big fan of the Jayhawks. I always believe in them and stuff. In the big picture, I always think, for a future, they're worth a look. But I don't really like this team that much. They're erratic offensively. They don't shoot the three that well. They don't have that dominant big man that they normally do. I'm not feeling it with this team. And even though Purdue is
at home, they're elite.
No, I know. And I say the dominant big man. I know Dickinson. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't play defense. You know what I mean? So
I'll just say one real quick.
He's going to give you 20 points, but to me, he's not put it this way, he's not even a top 50 NBA draft pick. So when I talk about dominant player, normally I have these dominant star players that are really good, NBA guys.
Houston is not impenetrable on the road, though. Probably should have lost to BYU, lost 2 games on the road already in conference. If they're a favorite, I think you got to lean Kansas.
This is SportsRage.
End up winning outright as a 4.5-point underdog at kickoff last week. They're headed back to the Super Bowl yet again. They were phenomenal, Vinny, in the first half, and they were phenomenal against Miami in the first half, too.
A lot of motivated players, and look, you got to hand it to them. Youthful players playing in a great system by Spagnuolo, and we know how great of a big game coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
Well, look at the Heisman Trophy.
The early line.
And what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at this deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell,
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time decisions.
I have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live,
Just
prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
SportsRage
That was
late
good betting.
night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Their goalie just got accused. He's in a London jail accused of rape some years ago.
Really?
They have to surrender to police by Monday. Yeah.
I haven't heard about it. How about I heard?
Big time.
Harder.
The Twisted Tuesday continues. This is Sports Rage. It's 73-62 now for the Golden State Warriors. There's 4:30 left in the third quarter of play. Embiid on the floor. Big man on campus is a Philadelphia 76ers fan. Of course, Embiid back in the lineup tonight, big man. But Golden State coming off two gut-wrenching losses to Sacramento and to the Los Angeles Lakers, both like wild games that they ended up losing in the final seconds. I thought, Philadelphia are better, but Golden State like are due. Like the basketball gods have to like give them a break. We'll see what happens. 73-62 right now with 4 minutes left in the third. What do you think about this game, big man?
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping. I did play a little Sixers. I'm hoping the Warriors kind of blow out like they did against the Lakers. I mean, Joel Embiid, either hasn't played or he didn't play well. Hasn't played well tonight since that 70-point game. So hopefully they have a big fourth quarter coming up here. But there's been some wild games in the NBA, man. And you alluded to the Warriors have been kind of in the center of them. You throw out the fact that Doncic at 73 the other night. Just a league that, how many nights in a row do you see, 134, 133, 140, 131? Just no defense played in this league anymore.
No, I've given up on it. You have to bet the over or just sort of enjoy it or don't watch at this point with this league. Tomorrow night, college basketball. Alabama lays 6 at Georgia. Purdue right now are 13-point home favorites against Northwestern. Xavier, 1-point home favorite, St. John's visit. I want to get to the Connecticut game that you guys were talking about. Virginia lay 13 of the visiting Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Pittsburgh Panthers, 1.5-point home favorites against Wake Forest. Tomorrow night, we talked about the Kentucky game. Kentucky lay 5.5 to Florida. Total, 171. Very high number for a college basketball game. 171 is the total there. Arkansas and Missouri. Missouri are 5.5-point home favorites, 143.5. UConn lay 12.5 points in this game on their home court. The total is 139, big man.
Yeah, that's a game that I kind of had my eye on. UConn is kind of feeling it right now. Cam was talking about that on a break. I think one of the reasons they've been so good is their three-point shooting. They've just been lighting the nets on fire really since Christmas. Defensively, they've been great. This looks like a great spot to fade Providence, coming off that really emotional win the other night in their building against Ed Cooley, which – why are we so against Ed Cooley? Listen, I get.
I love Ed Cooley.
He's a home guy, but he's a hometown guy. Whatever, I get it. But he's making $2 million more. He advanced in his career. Why are you so upset about it, Providence? I get it. He's the hometown guy, but it is what it is. That said, I think it's a good spot to back UConn. I will also throw out. I think Georgia's worth a look tomorrow night at home against Alabama. That figures to be a high-scoring game. Georgia's
11-1 at home, big man, and look at Georgia. The 14-6 Gabe, they're getting 6.5. That was the game I was going to ask you about. That's a dangerous home dog.
You look at it in conference. They've lost by 6 to Tennessee. Big high-scoring game against Kentucky. That game is close, and then they lost by Florida to 4 in overtime. They're a fun team to watch. They're up and down. Alabama is a group that kind of frantic, all over the place. Wouldn't surprise me if this turns into a high-scoring, like 88-85 type of game, and 6 seems a little too high. 6.5.
Big man on campus kicking it with us. So, big man, we'll get to the Super Bowl, but what about the Philadelphia Eagles coaching situation? Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio's name keeps coming up right now. It was quite a disaster this past year. What are your thoughts on the offseason move so far?
Well, I think they just wanted to go with proven people. They made some really bad decisions this past year with their offensive and defensive coordinator, then obviously switching up their defensive coordinator. I think for them, they just wanted to get in just solid names that can do a nice job. The Vic Fangios, the Kellen Moores. Look, for all the people in this town that talk about running the football, it's not going to get any better with Kellen Moore because he doesn't run the football either. But I think for them, it's about getting competent names that have done something. That's why you heard about the Ron Riveras and the guys like that they interviewed. They were always going to go for proven guys, but they need to hit the ball to the park in free agency and in the draft. They have major holes on this defense. They need to go out and get another receiver. And we'll see kind of what the future is for Jason Kelsey. I think the thought is he's probably going to retire. They have a lot of moves to make, but there is a decent core there. And I'm glad they brought in some proven people as the coordinators.
Cam still scoreless right now with the Sharks and Kraken. I like the under of this game. I didn't pull the trigger. I only took the San Jose Sharks plus 1.5, but good start for the Sharks so far.
Excellent call, Morency. Yeah, we took them in the first period on the +2, and they've been playing really well. They're hanging with Seattle. As you said before, Morency, at the top of the show, this All-Star break couldn't come at a better time. You saw the Columbus game, 1-0 final, and we're 0-0 midway through the game right here with Seattle and San Jose. Obviously, these teams are in quicksand. They need a break.
So the Super Bowl point spread, guys, keeps bouncing around. It's sitting at 2 right now. The San Francisco 49ers, 2-point favorites. Total has not moved all week at 47.5. What's your feeling about the game, big man? And not who's going to win first, but are you sickened by it? Are you annoyed? Are you looking forward to it? Do you want one team to win more than the other team type of deal? Do you hate both teams? How do you feel about the Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be a great game. I think the NFL will make it pure sickening from, some of the things that, we know they're going to shove down our throats. But listen, you're going to hear a lot of people talking about conspiracy theories. Look, for the first time in my life, I really thought about this whole Taylor Swift thing. It does seem, and then you see this week that she's generated like $300+ million for that team or something crazy, or for the NFL in general. That's nuts. And to get her on that global stage, it almost just seems like it was made to happen. Throw in the fact they put that ref on the field that I guess is really beneficial in Chiefs games. Am I sickened by it? Absolutely. I'm tired of seeing the Chiefs. I think we all are, but that's a testament to how good they've been. Mahomes is elite. Am I ready to back them one more time? Look, it's hard to fade him as a dog, but I think the 49ers are just a better version of the Chiefs. They have more playmakers to me. Defensively, I think they're pretty even, but I'll take the Niners. I think the whole world's going to be rooting for the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, how do you root for the Chiefs?
The thing is, it's true, Cam, about that. Like, the people are sick of the Chiefs, but it's not like the Niners are like the Lions or the Bills or the Jags or something like that, where it's like, oh, they're the good little guys. No, they're an evil empire too. Like you said, like they're as cocky as hell. They're franchise. They're fans. So it's a battle. But from a pure football standpoint, it's a great game. I saw a story tonight. I read it, and it was pretty the impact that Taylor Swift has. 24% of Taylor Swift fans that were polled have an interest in watching the Super Bowl and the Chiefs because of her, like point blank. Like that's 20, like so a quarter. So it's not like every Taylor Swift fan's like, oh, I'm going to watch the Chiefs because we're going to get a glimpse of her in the press box type of deal.
That's a lot of people,
but
man.
A quarter is a lot, big man, because, yeah, she's got like 150 million fans or something like that.
I mean, let's just say she has 100 million fans. I mean, 25 million people will watch. Here's what I will say. I already bet
there's no doubt, bro. They made the Chiefs cool and stuff. Dude, the Chiefs were never a cool franchise. Now they're blonde chicks and they're tight, you know what I mean? The outfit, their owners, daughters, and everyone's hot. And like Taylor Swift, they're like trendy. And they did. Travis Kelce sells 1 million. This is crazy, though, Cam. Forget about the women. I just saw a story today that the most popular haircut in America is Travis Kelce. Like guys are going into the barber and saying, give me the Travis Kelce, because they think, you know what, this guy's getting it done with Taylor Swift. Yeah, big man's time. Tell him, I can't do it. I can only say, give me the Mo. Give me the curly and Mo. I can't do it. You guys can give me the Travis Kelce. You got to get the little thing going in the front.
Brill cream look. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. The gangster cut.
I do like Travis on one level. He does have that kind of vibe. He's kind of with it. I do like him. He's growing on me a little bit more.
He's not fake. I don't even dislike him. He's not fake. Like, he's just living his life.
Games. Like, and he plays great. Like, I'm getting sick and tired of betting against the Chiefs and losing money, big man. But I'm doing it again too.
I actually find Mahomes more annoying than Kelsey. That's just
I agree with you.
In my opinion, I'm like, screw you, Mahomes. Just shut up. But Kelsey, I'm like, hey, he's cool.
I'm so sick and tired of him talking to the refs and the stupid hands. It's like, shut up, dude. Like,
he's been way more cringy this year. Throw in the fact that, I mean, look, I don't like talking about people's wives, but his wife is just super annoying. The goofy brother, like, they're all just lame. But
I don't like doing it either, but you're right on both accounts. Like, they just are. She's like, oh, we made it back, bitches. It's like, we didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. Like, you're up in the press box. You didn't do anything. We made it back. Like, sorry. Like,
I will say, I never bet props this early. I love Kelsey anytime touchdown. I bet it at plus $1.10. It's now down to plus $1 essentially. I mean, he's a lock generally in
19 touchdowns and 21 playoff games in his career.
And you know they're just salivating on an opportunity to pan to her in the post, the box up there. By the way, have you guys seen her dad or his dad will not sit there with them, I've heard. Have you seen that?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, he doesn't like the fame part. He's not down.
He did an interview and said he won't sit in there with them.
You know, what's funny though, big man? Our boy Zach Caleros in the CFL, big CFL quarterback. People are like, "Is that Zach Caleros sitting next to Taylor Swift?" And it was. He played with Cincinnati Bearcats with Travis Kelce. They were roommates, so they're buddies. So that's what I'm saying. So Kelsey's cool. He reaches out to his old buddy. Hey, why don't you come hang out with Taylor Swift in the booth and stuff? Like, he doesn't big time his old buddies. He's actually a cool dude. You know what I'm saying?
He is. I agree.
He seems. Listen, he was cringy for a while, but I guess I'm kind of feeling him. I like him a lot more than I did. I just am not a Taylor Swift person. She's just not for me. She's probably a nice person.
She's even an Eagle fan. She's even like a Philly Eagle and all this.
Right. Well, not anymore.
Well, she was. She
was. Yeah.
She was. So you're leaning San Francisco in this game, you said, though, right now?
It's tough, though.
Even though it's hard to bet against Mahomes, but
we're all there.
It feels like to me they have enough weapons with McCaffrey, with Samuel, with Ayuk, that Kansas City have done a nice job shutting people down, but San Francisco have a lot of people to shut down. As long as Purdy plays well, I think they can win.
They were really good against Baltimore. Was that more Baltimore though? Baltimore just
they choked Baltimore. They choked.
I don't know what the hell that game plan was. Just odd, bizarre.
Todd Monken sucks, bro. The Army coach Monken's the good one. This guy's terrible. Remember? Yeah. Jeff Monken. Todd Monken's bad, bro. He was with Tampa. They were terrible. He got run out of the NFL, and he was the OC guys for the Georgia Bulldogs. And it's like, okay, you're the OC for the Georgia Bulldogs for 2 years when they won. I could be the OC blindfolded and drunk for the Georgia Bulldogs. Like, you have more talent than everybody. It's not like you don't have to be like, you're not a smart OC because you won with the Georgia Bulldogs.
Nobody talks.
End up winning outright as a 4.5-point underdog at kickoff last week. They're headed back to the Super Bowl yet again. They were phenomenal, Vinny, in the first half, and they were phenomenal against Miami in the first half too.
A lot of motivated players, and look, you got to hand it to them. Youthful players playing in a great system by Spagnuolo, and we know how great of a big game coordinator Steve Spagnuolo is.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman
The
Trophy
early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks, backup
Pharrell
quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took them
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
SportsRage
That was good
late
betting.
night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're at a 3-minute warning, level 2. Cam Stewart, big man on campus in the house with us. Big man talked about playing Kelsey touchdown. I'm kicking myself for not doing it against the Baltimore Ravens. I did take his reception prop, and it was crazy because it was 5.5. And, of course, he ended up with 11. But even more impressive is Mahomes targeted him 11 times. So 11 targets, 11 catches, which is just unbelievable. So they put 6.5 up, guys, for the Super Bowl. It's not 5.5 anymore. They don't really have too many people to throw it to, right? It's Rashee Rice and it's Travis Kelce, and then there's the odd whatever. Once in a while, somebody else will get a ball. But even at 6.5, big man, I'm going to play it. Kelce he's a big game player. Like, that's who Mahomes goes to. Even though everyone knows you're going to him, it still works.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we also have to look a little bit at San Francisco's defense. I mean, I thought it was pretty poor against Detroit at certain points. Yeah, I think you have to play that. He's obviously going to be the center of attention, but
they got
really
carved up over the middle of the field, guys, which is a problem. Like, Detroit was picking them apart, Cam, over the middle of the field.
Up too.
And the Packers did over the middle of the field, and KC live in the middle of the field, guys. They live in the middle of the field.
They do.
I'll tell you, though, that Rashee Rice, man, he's a hell of a player as well. I mean, what do you do with Tony in this game either?
You can't play him. No, you got to tell him to F off. Like,
yeah, he's done. No,
you believe this guy running his mouth after everything he's put him through, and then he runs his mouth? It's like, dude, what are you, a moron?
He's you should just, you're right, Gabe. It's like he shouldn't say one damn word. Like,
just don't say anything. And he probably would have been on the active roster because people always get hurt too. It happens, even in practice, and like the roster changes, and we need him now. Or last second, listen, he's a jerk, but we need his speed, right? We'll have him return punts or whatnot. He kind of talked his way off the team, I think, big man.
Yeah, I think he did as well. Rough season.
All right, great stuff. So your prediction is San Francisco beats these son of a bitches?
I think so.
Thanks, guys.
Later, Gabe.